Well, hello again, boys and girls. It's so nice to see you. I hope you're all safe and sound, cuddled up like snug in a bug, and staying away from the bugs. Um, anyway, I wanted to talk to you today about television. And this is a long, as you'll see on the schedule, this is a long chapter. So I'm going to break it up like I did some of the others, and you may look at the PowerPoint as I'm talking to you, and I think that may help a little bit. And you can pause me anytime you want. I don't mind being paused. That's okay. It's not an insult. So let's start talking about television. The history of it, basically. We could have had television so much earlier. We really didn't get television until the late 40s, 47, 48, that sort of thing. But we had a war in there, and so that really slowed the progress down quite a bit. Anyway, we have a nice little picture here of an old, small, probably portable television. And so here's a little intro to it. Like I said, people want more things. We get something like radio, and then we want something else. And what else do we want? What did we want with radio? We wanted pictures. We wanted sound and pictures. And it's kind of interesting. I saw a documentary, I guess you would call it, on the History Channel. It was called America in Color. And it was old movies, documentaries from the 20s and 30s that were, I was astounded at the quality of the picture. It was not grainy at all. You had people moving. It looked like it was done with really good cameras, and of course, or movie cameras rather. It looked like somebody wealthy had done these movies, even though some of the images were not of wealthy people. Of course, you had a depression during that time, but what I noticed most was that the images were great. The film was great. The sound was not. So it just seemed to me that pictures really accelerated in quality faster than sound did. And today, we have the best of everything, really. So by the late 1930s, radio was already a part of society. Everybody had a radio. It was part of American life. It allowed millions to enjoy public events in the comfort of their own home. People were watching athletic events. Now, remember, people didn't have a TV in every room like we tend to do today. They had one big TV. It was like a piece of furniture plopped right into the living room, and everybody gathered around. Radios were already starting to get more affordable, and people could have a couple of radios. But for the television, you had one. So if somebody wanted to watch a fight, they could watch the fight, but then maybe somebody else would get the next hour or the next half hour. So adding pictures was definitely the next step to getting television. And by the 1950s, television had already become the main medium for shaping public opinion. The neat thing about TV was that we could get to experience vicariously things that we couldn't experience in real life. George Gerbner came up with the theory of cultivation, which meant that the thesis of the theory was that the longer you spend living in television, the more you begin to see the world according to what the television was showing you. So when I show you TV shows from the 50s where you have Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver and the Ozzie and Harriet and more of those. They were showing American life in the ideal. So many Americans were not living like that. But if somebody came over from another country and watched our TV shows, they would think that's American life. That's how, families get together. They have every meal together. The mother stays at home, doesn't work. She makes every meal. She's up early in the morning making sure that Dad gets his breakfast before he goes to work. And life is just not quite that neat anymore. But anyway, it was shaping public opinion about a lot of things. We were seeing political events. We were seeing speeches. Just everything. It was such a new, eye-opening world to us. And when we get into speaking about how we retain information, this slide number 4 is very important for learning that. We have a spectrum of verbal to visual communication, and you can see with this arrow going from the very bottom left with oral presentations, oral communication. That is has the lowest rate of retention. If you hear something, you're not likely to remember it nearly as well as if you had something that had sound and visuals with it. Okay, that tells me I've got about a minute left on this one. I don't want to upload such long tapes, but I'll finish this slide up real quickly here. So we go to verbal but written. In other words, you see the words, but somebody is speaking it. Then we have the written word treated visually. You have bullets, you have color. That's like looking at a PowerPoint. And then you have written material that's visually transformed. We learn more things and we retain the information if we see it in a chart. It's hard for us to grasp statistics just by hearing them or just by seeing them. If we see them in a chart or a graph, we can understand them better. And then we go all the way to purely visual. And those are the types of things that we never forget. I'm sure that you have seen things in your life that you remember from a long time ago that you remember fondly, and things that you have seen that you hope you don't ever remember very well. But you do. If you concentrated, you could remember the visuals more so than anything that was spoken to you. Okay, I'm going to stop this right here, and we'll go on to the next.